Good afternoon, YouTube. So this is my old, I guess it's a Hitachi angle grinder, 4.5 inch G12SA. And the other week, not sure what I did. I think I went to pick this up off the ground under my welding table, and I had stepped on the power cord, and when I pulled it up, it pulled the power cord tight, and after that happened, the power switch, which is right here, was stuck. It wouldn't move into the on position. So I finally tore it apart here, and to do that, it's actually not too bad to get into. There's 4 screws that hold this back cover on, and that gets you into this section here. The switch is actuated by this sliding mechanism here. So the switch itself is down here and screwed in, has one screw holding it in place. The knob on the switch goes into that slot there. This is what was stuck, so the switch wouldn't move. I couldn't get it to move at all. I've freed it up now. Okay, so what I found was I had to pop the cover off of this switch. And to do that, you unscrew the one screw that holds it in place, and then you can bring this thing up. You pop the 2 catches off of both sides. You kind of have to get under, lift it up, and you want to be careful here because there's a couple of springs and pins inside of there, plus the contacts. And I'd put this together, but I lost one of the little contact pieces. And they're kind of sticky because there's grease on them. So let's see, this one I think has to go in like that too. Yeah, I got to get it back in the hinges there. Okay, I think I have the 2 rocker contacts in there. They have to go into this. There's kind of a wider part in the middle that sits in this little groove there. And then inside of the top of the switch, so in here there's 2 pins, and then there's 2 little springs right in there, and you have to make sure to get those over there. So these are what actually ride up, and they're sticky because they got the sticky grease on them. So you have to get that on there, so those should move freely. You kind of have to be careful here because if you tip it too far either way, because the parts in here want to fall out that way, and the parts in the bottom want to fall out the other way. Oh yeah, there you go. So this side has 2 catches. So you pop that back together, and you can see that side has just 1. There we go. So now the switch is working, and so you want to put it in the off position, because that's where this is. And then this goes over like that. Must have twisted the wire harness when I took this out. You have to get this all into position. You got to get the screw in there, and then you got to get the knob on the switch into that recess. There we go. So I think that's there. You got the strain relief here on the wire. So that goes with the 2 little raised parts facing down. Got to get that in there. And the other thing I did while I had it apart, some of these air openings were all clogged up. So what I did was got in here with a thin bladed screwdriver and got all those openings opened up, because you get a lot of the dust from the grinding wheel gets in here. You can see inside it was pretty dirty. So I got in and tried to clean that out as best I could. Some of the openings don't go through like that one, but try to get in and scrape out all the built up dust and metal powder and all that stuff out of there. Get that screwed down. There we go. And then this thing should go right on top here. Some years ago I changed the brushes out, but I might want to actually look at that while I have it open here. Let's just take a look at the brushes. So you want to be careful with these because I think they're like a plastic. You don't want to twist too hard. I'm just going to look at them here. I would say that brush is worn out. So that is a good thing I looked at that. And one of the products my company sells are brushes that happen to fit these. These brushes also fit on the Toyota your internal in-cab air blower, so the heater, air conditioner blower. So these same brushes work there, but they work just as well on a Hitachi angle grinder. They're the exact same size and they fit right in there. But yeah, that wore down probably about 10 years worth of wear right there. And what you do not want to have happen is if these brushes wear completely out, then you've got this metal spring grinding on the copper commutator, and you can basically ruin your motor at that point. So that is a good thing I checked this. Yeah, I think these, I may want to shorten these down a little bit. Yeah, usually these brushes come 3/4 inch long, and we usually cut them down to about 1/2 inch, because you can see the brush goes in, but there's only that much room for the spring inside, and you just can't compress the spring that much. So let me go shorten these up, and then we'll plug them inside there. Okay, there we go. We nipped off the end of the brush there, so we're about 1/2 inch long, and then I take a sanding drum and a Dremel. They're trying to match the curvature of the commutator, so I'll just fire that up here. So there we go. We got a little carbon brush there ready to go in. So put that one in like that. Always tough to get in the first time because you got to get the spring to compress in there evenly. Just kind of compress the spring a little bit, get everything a little pre-compressed. But yeah, the brush fits in there, so it's kind of a trade-off. The longer the brush is, the longer it'll last, but then the harder it is to get in. It's kind of hard because the camera's right in the way here. Let me get back when I get this one stuffed in there. Okay, there we go. Just got a little bit better angle on it. Screw those in. You don't want to go too tight because you can break out that screw slot in there. So then you got to do the other side too. So let me get that one out. So yeah, you got to make sure you get the curvature of the brush to line up with the curvature of the commutator there. The brushes are about the only thing in these that wear out if you can keep your brushes in good shape. This is the second set of brushes I've worn through. So let me get the cover back on. Okay, I think I got it cleaned out. I think there was a little bit of dirt down in there, so I took a small carbide bit on my Dremel and just kind of cleaned out that recess, sharpened up the edges a little bit. And now I think we're good to go, because now you can push it up and it sticks, and then you press down on the back and it releases. Yeah, I think that's going. But yeah, I think we're good to go. Probably good for another 10 years on those brushes. I think I purchased this grinder back in the mid-90s, I'm guessing. And so it's probably a good 20 years old. 4.5 inch grinder. And let's see, the other thing I need to do here is put a new wheel on it. Yeah, so here we go. That was the other thing I was needing to do, is put a new grinding wheel in here. Yeah, that one's pretty well shot. I really like these Charger Plus wheels from Norton. They last about 10 times longer than your regular wheels. They're about twice as expensive. So I get these from McMaster Car. I think I bought a box of 10 of them probably about 10 years ago, and I'm still working on that box. And this one's probably been in there 9 months, maybe a year. Yeah, check your brushes. You can just pull them out really easy. Just make sure you unplug the tool first, and it's really easy to do. Pull them out, take a look. If they look like that, they are probably ready to replace. Drop us an email. We can get you set up with a set of brushes for these. Usually try to keep some in stock, and we can build them for this. Or if your Toyota pickup, 4Runner, or most any of the Toyota vehicles, the blower motor that's under your dash uses these exact same brushes, and that's what we mainly sell these for, is the Toyota blower motors, but they happen to fit Hitachi angle grinders. They also fit Honda Prelude, and I imagine most of the Honda vehicles, so they all use this same size brush, and we can set you up with a new set, and that way you buy new brushes and you keep your old grinder, because there's nothing wrong with this grinder. It works just fine, except the brushes were worn out and the switch needed a little bit of work. And you put a new grinding wheel on it and it's good for another year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that repair. If you have any questions about that, post up in the comment section below. I'll put a link to our carbon brush webpage in the video description if you want to get some more information. And as always, thanks for watching.